It's time now for Selling the 831.
Hi, good afternoon. Welcome to our show, Selling the 831. This is a real estate talk show. We are broadcasting live from KSCO 1080 AM in Santa Cruz, California, and I am your host, Monica Wason. Oh, today is episode 6. This morning, I went to a Monterey County Association of Realtors event, and several colleagues in the real estate industry mentioned the show, congratulated me on the show, and they said that they've heard it. So, yeah, that's pretty exciting. So I hope you listeners out there are also enjoying it. The whole point of the show is to help buyers buy and sellers sell by giving some insight into today's market. So Valentine's Day just passed, and we're coming up on President's Day, so I'm feeling the love for my fellow service members. Yes, I was in the Air Force. Most of my time I was stationed at Travis Air Force Base, which is just a little north of us. Which is funny because I'm from the Sacramento area, and the main reason I joined the Air Force was to travel, and I wanted to see the world, and I got stationed about 45 miles outside of Sacramento. So,
I grew up in Rio Vista.
You did?
I did. And so I know all about Travis Air Force. But you know why they built it there?
Tell me.
Because of the wind. They could turn a C-5A into the wind, and it can almost take off by itself at Travis Air Force Base.
Man, I mean, yeah, I believe it. There's so much traffic coming in and out of Travis.
Yeah, it really is a busy airport.
I used to brag to people that I would just go to Hawaii with one of my girlfriends. We would catch a hop on our day off, and the first flight from Travis
to Hickam.
Yeah, it goes to and then you have to kind of wait because it was like maybe every fourth flight would come back. So, but yeah, pretty much if you wanted to just take a hop and go for a couple days and come back, it was totally free.
How did you get out of duty for that long if you hop a flight? Just tell the commander, I'm sorry, I don't feel good. Stay home.
Since I'm out of the Air Force, I don't mind saying. One of my girlfriends was dating a cargo pilot.
Oh.
So he would let us kind of just get on, and my person in charge of me had no idea until, I don't think Facebook or social media was a big thing back then, so there was like no proof of any of it.
Well, yeah. Unless somebody asked the pilot how many,
Yeah.
Why is your flight over by 100 pounds?
Luckily, none of that happened.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah.
I can't tell you how many people I've met around the world in places I've lived that were like, I met a guy on Guam at high school, and he grew up in Isleton.
Wow.
Which is across the river from my hometown of Rio Vista. It was like 10 miles away. And I met this guy on Guam.
That's so crazy.
It's wild.
Yeah. Military, that's true. It's like a lot of people in it, but it's a small community, right? Yeah. Were you in the military, Bill?
No, I wasn't. My mother and father loved to travel, and they were both teachers. So wherever they traveled to, they could get jobs.
Yeah.
That's what happened.
Right.
My mother was a master elementary school teacher. She could teach any grade all the way up through high school. And so she always had a job, and my dad was big into the university thing, so he could always have a job. So we were all over the place. But I was thinking what you were talking about Valentine's Day just being over and everything. Is like Valentine's Day a big day to think about buying a house?
Well, a lot of realtors like to market. We're real estate matchmakers.
Oh, I see.
And yes, I did pull some stats, so I'll get to that. But a lot of homes have sold this month so far.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so it could just be, right?
Well, we're going to start a family. We need 7 bedrooms.
We need a love house.
God, that's funny.
Well, in honor of President's Day, I wanted to gear this conversation more towards the military servicemen and women. So my plan for today is to do like a Vets Helping Vets show and also active duty. So if you're currently serving or have served in the military and you've purchased a home, I'm especially asking you to call us here at the station. The number is 831-479-1080, 1080, just to share your story with other military members that might be listening in. Tell us how it went. Was the process tough? Was it smooth? Any advice that you can give. So again, that number is 831-479-1080. So we want to hear all about it. If you're not able to call in because you're working or whatever, and you want to text a question or a comment, I do have my cell phone on. So my number is 831-241-1236. And again, feel free to text and I'll read those comments or questions off during the show. So if this is your first time tuning in, I'm an active realtor with a broker's license. I'm the owner and broker on record for M Square Realty Group. M Square is a boutique brokerage, meaning we are not associated with any umbrella brand or franchise. Because M Square is self-originating, it gives me creative freedom in messaging, which allows me to be here speaking with you. And I'll be hosting this show every Thursday from 2 to 3 p.m. So as I mentioned earlier, it's our 6th show. Every show I'm trying to develop some kind of theme. So that's another thing I wanted to put out there, that if anyone is listening and they want to maybe suggest a topic for the show, then please, you can always just shoot me an email or a text. If you want to look me up, my website is sellingthe831.com. No spaces, just type it in like it's all one word. So sellingthe831.com. You can also Google me, Monica Wason. Wason is with one S, and you'll get a variety of hits. So as I mentioned, today is all about helping veterans or active duty buy or even sell homes. So as I mentioned, I'm a veteran. And I feel military, how I was telling Bill, especially in this area, is a very small community. And I love helping other military folks out. And since I sell homes, this is the best way I know how to help. And I get it. PCSing can be tough. Relocating to a new state or city. It's hard to know where to go for information. So hopefully this broadcast finds you and you can get some tips just for listening in. But hopefully not just from me. Hopefully other military people that have either maybe used a VA loan or a maybe Calvet loan can call in and just kind of tell us, how it went for them. So this is a talk show. In planning this, that was my whole thought of it, that we're going to be hearing stories from those who actually went through the home buying experience.
Monica, how often does a military family be ordered to move to another location? It was about, 3-4 years?
So it could sometimes be, so when I said PCSing, that's like when they permanently change their duty station. But yeah, that can happen. Things might have changed since I've been in, but it was like every 2 years they might even change you around. But then there's another thing called TDY, which is temporary, and you could be, going temporarily to another duty station.
In which case
often.
you would probably want to keep the house you bought and rent it or something.
Well, a lot of military, it's real convenient and easy to get married in the military. and have kids. And so, yeah, you get married. The plus side of getting married if you're in the military is they bump your pay up. So, like, I would know a lot of people that just were friends and ended up getting married just to both kind of get their pay up there. And then they were smart because they would have higher income, they have a good job, and then they would buy a house. And yeah, they would either, if they went on their own temporary duty assignments, they would rent rooms out or,
Yeah.
um,
The reason I asked is because it seems to me that your experience in the military would really be beneficial if you're representing somebody who either is buying a house or selling a house who happens to be in the military. It seems to me that's a really good combo. Yeah.
Yeah, it actually is because I feel like I speak the military language.
Sure.
Like I get it. I get what they're going through, and then I also get the timelines, right?
Yeah,
Like
exactly.
I know, like, oh, when you say we need to buy something, yeah, need to buy it. But so like I was saying, if you've also experienced buying, call in, because anything you might have to say could help someone else. Even if you're just a military person or a veteran, you haven't bought yet, and you have questions, call and I'll try to answer them, or maybe a caller will call in and just say like what they did. I know things are real different when we're dealing with military buying homes. So again, the phone number is 831-479-1080. Or just call to give like a shout out to your hometown. But as I mentioned, you may have something worthy of telling another fellow veteran or active duty military. There's just so much misinformation out there. But if we tell each other our own experiences, there just may be a small nugget of information passed on that helps someone buy a home. And then I wanted to do something else today. If you are a owner or you're in the home improvement business and you want to give a veteran discount, then I'm offering you free advertising right now during this show. Call in at 831-479-1080. Tell us your business and what discount you want to get those to that you want to give, I'm sorry, to those who have served or are serving. Ooh, that got the phones lit up. So
Your first call is on line 1, and it's PJ in Salinas.
Okay. All right. I'm going to take that call. Hi, PJ. Are you there?
Yes. Hi, Monica. Welcome to KSCO.
Thanks. Thanks so much.
Yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome. This is nice and refreshing, and it's a great subject.
Oh, thanks, PJ. I'm glad to hear it. Are you prior military?
No, but my husband was. And I just have a question. You may know it, you may not, and it's okay. Just wondering, he passed away a little over a year ago, and I'm a veteran's wife. He was retired Army, and so I have a military ID card. Do I qualify for a VA loan as a surviving spouse? I didn't serve in the military. He did.
I do know, PJ, that there is, if you are a surviving spouse, and did your husband pass away while he was active duty, or was it service related?
No, he was retired.
So I believe that's the stipulation, but I can check on that just to be sure and then get back to you.
Okay, I would really appreciate that. I'm just, curious because I'm interested in potential refinance, and in order to add an ADU on my property so that I can downsize and maybe rent the house. That's kind of what I'm thinking.
Got it. Okay. I do have a guest coming in a future show. He's a general contractor, and that's one of the things we did want that's on our list is ADUs, because I know that's a big thing right now.
And that would be a good, possibility for me because I don't need a big house, but you know what I mean? I don't, and I've got a big piece of property. And so that would be great if you could. How would I give you my information? Do I just email you?
Yeah, go ahead and email me, or so it's Monica Wason at Gmail.
Monica Watson at Gmail.
Yeah,
Okay.
or you could text me 831-241-1236.
Is Wason Wason?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
Monica, thank you. I look forward to hearing more of you.
Awesome, PJ. Thanks for calling in. Thanks for listening.
You're welcome. Take care.
You too. Bye.
All right, bye-bye.
Now, can you see the screen in there? Or
I do. So let me get Tom next. Hi, is this Tom?
Yeah, it is.
Hi, Tom. You're calling from Salinas?
When I bought my house, the mortgage rate I got was much lower than you get on a VA loan. However, they did allow me to use the free inspection. So when I bought, even though I wasn't getting a VA loan, they picked up all the costs and did a trusted inspection of the house. Another thing is discounts. My favorite is the Lowe's 10% discount for a veteran, and the Valvoline oil change discount, 10% each.
You know what?
So
I use those same ones. I love the Lowe's discount and Home Depot. Home Depot's the same. You get 10% Home Depot, but you have to download the app. I think at Lowe's you just have to show your card.
I just showed my VA card from the clinic. My clinic ID card, and they accepted that. So anyway, that's all.
Thanks, Tom. So let me just ask you. So you said you purchased your home. You didn't use the VA loan, so you still have that option if you ever. Mm-hmm.
But I didn't buy a house. I bought a home, and I made a commitment to it and the neighborhood, and that's paid off because I've made great neighbors, a great neighborhood, and my home is really homey.
Oh, I love that. Well, good. Thanks for calling. Thanks for listening, and I hope you continue.
Bye.
Okay, bye.
I love stories like that.
Me too.
Guy bought his house, turned it, called it a home, and now is hooked up with all his neighbors. That's pretty cool.
Yes.
I love stories like that. Guy bought his house. I think his phone is still on.
I think so
Just
too.
turn it down. Yeah, I know. Let's see if we can. Okay.
Sorry, technical difficulties here.
There it is.
Got it? Okay.
The thing that's a lot of thing. That's a idea and a thought that a lot of people, I don't think, when they go into home ownership, really have that in the back of their mind.
Not in today's world. These people, no. We kind of joke, like people buy homes like cell phones. About every 3 to 5 years, it's like, oh, I want a new home. I want to upgrade, and yeah.
It takes me about 8 years to learn the cell phone, so I keep them way longer than I'm supposed to. The only reason I would even consider getting a new cell phone, because I like the one I have, is if they drop the whatever number G it is,
yeah.
eliminate the. I know a lot of people that said, well, my cell phone was 2G, and so it doesn't work anymore, so I had to get a new one. Okay.
Well, let's see. I want to thank our sponsor, Lighthouse Door Company. They're a local garage door business. They specialize in custom garage doors and installations. So let's go to commercial. This is them, and then we'll be right back after this commercial break.
What's that? You say you can't get it up? Oh, it goes up and you can't get it down? It only goes halfway up? Okay, we are talking about your garage door, right? Well, you called the right place. I'm Eric. Me and my crew at Lighthouse Door Company, we specialize in garage door repair and all types of garage door and opener installations. We've proudly served the Monterey, and the Santa Cruz area since 2005. From basic metal garage doors to custom wood garage doors, we do it all, and we do it at a fair price. And if you mention KSCO, we'll even give you a 10% discount. You can call or text 831-655-1419. We look forward to working with you. 831-655-1419. Call or text Lighthouse Door Company 831-655-1419. We look forward to working with you.
Okay, we're back. So, serving in the military and being eligible for a VA loan to buy a house is a awesome benefit because you can buy a home with no money down. And if you've never bought a home and are wondering, what's the big deal about no money down, I'm just going to give you an example. So, the money down part with a FHA loan, which is another government loan, has a minimum of 3.5% down. So that means the buyer has to put down 3.5% of the purchase price of the home. So let's say the home is $800,000, 3.5% of that is $28,000. So that's what you would have to come up with is $28,000 to buy this $800,000 home. Plus you have closing costs, but with the VA loan, it's zero down. You'll still have closing costs, but in this market, we can try to negotiate with the seller to pay some or all of those closing costs. So that's just a little bit of background on what a VA loan is. Last week, I had a mortgage loan originator in here, Ricky Suarez, and he briefly went over it, and then he will be coming back in the future, and we'll maybe break this down a little bit more in the future. But since this is selling the 831 and it's mid-February, let's see what's sold so far this past month. As far as Santa Cruz County, 12 homes sold this past week, so that's a total of 24 since the beginning of February. So 24 homes sold this month so far in Santa Cruz County, and 19 of those homes sold for less than the initial asking price. So that's huge. But in my research, I did see that 3 of those 24 sold for over asking. I did the same report for Monterey County, and so far 44 total homes have sold in Monterey County since the beginning of this month. Out of those 44, 26 homes sold for less than the original asking price, and 11 sold for over asking. So I think Monterey County has figured out that, if you price it right or maybe just a little under market value, you'll start getting multiple offers and hopefully the seller gets the over asking price. I also did San Benito. 11 homes sold in San Benito County since the beginning of February, and 8 of those sold for less than asking, and only 3 sold for over asking. So with all this, all signs are pointing towards the market is moving, and it's moving more toward buyers being able to get great deals. So congrats to those buyers, sellers, agents, lenders that were all involved in any of those transactions. Okay, 831.
It's been a long time since it's been a buyer's market.
Yeah, it has.
It's been a long time.
Definitely. So this is an exciting time. So, I have buyers that are still, though, like, oh, I don't know, I want to wait because the rates, I heard they're high. Rates, yeah. But, as, previous shows, we've pretty much said they're really not high. They're higher than they were during the COVID.
Well, my mom and dad bought a house when I was a kid, and I think the interest rate was like 13% or something. It was crazy.
I know.
But, that was the norm, and everybody just went along with it.
So the buyers that are out there right now shopping, I mean, they're getting some great deals because they're getting less than asking. They're negotiating either repairs or closing costs. I mean, they're pretty much able to write their own ticket.
In
right
the
now.
driver's seat, as we like to say.
I like that.
Yeah. Instead of the homeowner driving the bus, now it's the buyer, I guess.
That's true.
Yeah. Well, good.
And it's about time. It needs to kind of go both ways. So, all right, 831-479-1080. If you have any questions, comments, or anything to add. And as I mentioned, I wanted to theme this show as military helping military. So call us if you're military and you've bought something. I just want to hear the story. I like to hear it all. When I went in the military, I never really heard about buying a house or the VA loan. And actually, that's not entirely true. When you sign up for the military, that is one of the things that they tell you, right? One of the benefits you'll have is, you can buy a house with no money down. And then for my situation, I didn't hear it again until getting out of the military. So when you're getting ready to exit out of the military, they call it out processing. And during this out processing phase, they have you go to classes, go to appointments, and one of these classes is to tell you about your benefits. And that was actually the second time that I heard, you can buy a house with no money down. And at the time, I didn't really care to buy a home because I was going back to the folks for a bit until I figured out what I wanted to do. But when I was in the military, I started my career path of being a nurse and proceeded with that. And it wasn't until about 6 years later when I bought a home with my husband. I wasn't doing real estate then, so I didn't know any better, but I didn't use my VA loan, which I don't know why I didn't. And it could possibly be something like with a caller that previously called said that he had a better interest rate without using the VA loan, but I'm not sure if that was the case with us. But that's why I think it's important that we talk to each other about our experiences, learn from our mistakes, or help others not make the same mistakes. Not that not using my VA loan benefit was a mistake. It was just harder and not smarter. And we had to put a big chunk of money down. So that's why I thought this show would be beneficial. So there you go. If you are listening and you're service related, give us a call and let's hear about you. So 831-479-1080. Okay, I'm going to do a shout out to Mariela. Mariela is an active duty Army woman working out of the Capitola Recruiting Center. So if you're wanting information on joining the Army, go talk to her. She works very hard in there to give all the information that you need. Oh, I just received a text. Okay, I am active duty and I put an offer in for a condo, but I was told it wasn't approved by the VA. What's up with that? Yes, so buying a condo with a VA loan is pretty difficult in our area. And yes, condo complexes, they have to be approved by the VA. By the way, VA stands for the United States Department of Veteran Affairs. When service members obtain a VA loan, the VA itself is not loaning the money. So just to give you a simple explanation, the VA loan is where the money comes from the bank like other loans. However, it's backed by the government. So if that service member defaults on the loan, then the bank doesn't have to worry about losing money because the government is saying to the bank, no worries, I'll guarantee you, lender, against the principal. So if someone is trying to buy a condo with a VA loan, it may be approved, but in Monterey and Santa Cruz County, it's pretty rare. The condo complex has to go through an approval process, and a deciding factor or one of the deciding factors is the majority of the complex owner occupied versus renter occupied. And I'm not sure what the percentage ratio rate is, but most condos in our area are majority renter occupied. So that could be the reason why the VA did not approve the condo that you wanted to purchase. But thank you for the text. That's a really great question. I had this one client. He was a Army veteran, and he wanted to buy something, but his qualified range was more in that condo price range. And I did find a condo for him, but it was advertised as a condo, but the property prelim report said it was a condo/townhouse. And I remember telling my client that, it may not be approved, but how it works is you have to get an accepted offer, and then it has to go through escrow. And while it's an escrow, the lender lets you know if the VA approved it. So I wish we could just know like up front, but so that's what we did. We submitted the offer, it got accepted, it went into escrow, and gosh, it was probably like 3-4 years ago, but I remember the lender had an issue getting it approved. And first, I think he was telling me that it wasn't approved. And then I remember like arguing with him, like, well, no, it's not a condo, it's a townhouse. And apparently that made all the difference. And the townhouse was approved. So that'll be something that'll have to come in the future, because I'm not sure why townhouses are different than condos as far as the VA loan goes. But
what's the difference in general? I've never heard that. I never heard. You got to tell me, because I'm sure people out there listening going, what is the difference between
a townhouse and a condo?
Yeah.
Well, gosh, thanks, Bill, for putting me on the spot here.
Well, I'm sorry, but
no. Townhouses are so they're also in a complex, and they might have one sharing wall.
Oh, I see.
Maybe two, but the person who, so you know how a condo is kind of like an apartment, right? Like it's in a multi-unit.
They're all connected. Yeah.
Right. And the person, when you buy a condo, you're only responsible for the inside. And that's it. Like the roof, the paint, the condo complex is in charge of that. But with a townhouse, I believe you're in charge of both your own outside and inside. You might have the common wall or two. Yeah. Cool. I know.
All right, cool. Sorry, I didn't mean to put you on the spot, but boy, that was a logical question, because it seems to me like the bank, townhouse, well, we will approve that.
So yeah, and that part I'm not too sure why, but let's see. Oh, one of my realtor friends, Sue Haro, thank you, just texted me, and she is saying that for a townhouse, you own the dirt, and a condo, you don't.
The dirt underneath the house.
Correct.
I got it.
Yes, and that's probably a better way to explain it. Thanks, Sue. By the way, Sue is one of the my colleagues that I saw at the Monterey County Realtor Association, and I hadn't seen Sue in years. And as a matter of fact, when I was a brand new baby realtor, Sue was so nice and so gracious that she helped me on my very first deal. And Sue, I don't know if I ever thanked you well enough for that, but I feel like you got me on a really great road to success. So thanks, lady. Okay, I have a call. 1 second here. Hello, hi, you're on Selling the 831.
Hey, Monica, this is Ricky.
Oh, hey, Ricky, how are you? Are you listening?
Hey, I am. You've had some pretty interesting questions, so I just thought I'd chime in if you needed me to on
Yes.
PJ's question about the surviving spouse, and then maybe offer a little bit about the condos, townhomes thing.
Okay, let me just introduce you real quick in case someone wasn't listening last week. So, everyone, Ricky Suarez, he's a mortgage loan originator. He is my preferred lender. We've worked lots of deals together, and he sponsored last week's show, and he spent the whole hour pretty much just talking about the different mortgage and loan options, and it was a really great show. And I believe we're doing it again, right, Ricky? We're gonna kind of repeat
Yeah, we'll
that.
do it again soon.
Yeah. So thank you for listening, and yes, help me out. Help us with the PJ's question on the surviving spouse and VA loans.
Okay. Yeah. So with regard to that, the when it comes to that, the surviving spouse is eligible. Same criteria as long as the veteran was honorably discharged. There is some other additional criteria to make sure that the surviving spouse is still eligible. For example, if there's like someone's been remarried or something like that, that could kind of void that. But so there's a few things that we look into, but it's definitely a possibility. We've had people buy or refinance using the deceased veteran's benefit as a surviving spouse. So that is something that is possible, if we can kind of make everything line up properly.
Okay. And then we had another question about
the
go ahead.
The condo.
Yes.
Yeah. So what happens? You kind of spoke a little bit on it, but when it comes to like a condo, it's usually so a couple things to think about in general when we're talking about a townhouse versus a condo. A townhouse is considered a single family residence, and a condo has a little bit different status, and so it's kind of all in the way that it's developed and things like that. And you're right about, with this particular veteran that wasn't able to or didn't get the condo approved, in a lot of cases, it comes down to that percentage of, how many are actually being rented versus primary residence. And so, I think in general, I would say it's 15 to 25% is, it varies by program, but, that has a lot to do with it. In addition, there will be some other things like, if, they look at the budgets, they look at how many assessments that they've had, and there's different criteria. It's actually pretty involved when they review, and on top of that, the HOA for, let's say, a particular condo has to kind of reapply to renew that approval every so often. And I think a lot of times just with the turnover in HOAs, of course, it doesn't apply to every HOA, but in a lot of the ones I've seen, it just kind of seems like it's, maybe just not worth it or not a priority. Maybe they already know or something like that. So we tend to run into that. And I know you and I had helped a client where we kind of had that same situation where I think we went in thinking it was a town. I think it was the opposite of the other example you used. But in our case, we had one that we thought was a townhouse. Everything said it was a townhouse. But when, the title company and everything came back, they actually found out it was a condo, but it happened to be like one of the few condo complexes that was approved. That one was in Salinas. So it can happen. It's just, it's a little bit hit or miss with that when it comes to the government insured loans, so like the FHA or VA. And they usually follow the same criteria. If it's approved for one, it's usually approved for the other. So that's, I guess, a couple little points about the condo versus townhome. But there are some out there. They just kind of got to meet all of the criteria that, the VA program has in place to protect the veteran, really.
So what advice would you give to the veteran shopping? I guess just hit and miss, just keep trying, because there isn't a way, right, that we can find out beforehand, like, oh, this complex is approved. So once one opens up here, like, let's go for it. Can we do that?
It does depend. There is a database that exists that, in general has the name of the different complexes. Although I will say, having tried to use it, it doesn't feel like it's up to date or comprehensive. So I think when we get the report, as you know, when we open an escrow and the title company starts doing their research for the title report and all of those things, a lot of that comes back, and that's where we'll find some of that official work. So if a listing agent has, gone out and kind of got that information already, a lot of times they'll have the documents that they'll need from the HOA, like the bylaws and budgets and things like that. And also the title company might have their title report. We can start there. I know in some cases where we've had a conflict, it's kind of come down to what the appraiser says. Mm-hmm. And that could be kind of the final call for the lender. So, it sounds complicated, and it's probably not as complicated as that, but there's definitely some criteria. So I would say if you had a client that was out shopping and looking, exploring townhomes or condos and was really interested, perhaps just reach out to the listing agent in advance of making the offer and just asking if they have confirmed if it's, VA approved or anything like that. A lot of times they'll know in advance, and sometimes it's just kind of find out as we go, if they haven't had time to get all of that early research in. So that would be the kind of the best advice I would have at this point, is to just kind of, make sure that we ask the listing agent and see what they can tell us and provide any of that preliminary documentation that they may have received from the title company or from the HOA to kind of find out if they do meet any of that criteria, if they're aware of that.
Ooh, that's good advice. I like that. So I hope the listeners listening that text that question in. Well, thank you, Ricky. Thanks for calling in and helping me out here.
Yeah, no problem. All right, have a good day.
Okay, you too. Bye.
See ya.
So let's do one more commercial break, and then we'll be right back.
You say you can't get it up. Oh, it goes up and you can't get it down. It only goes halfway up. Okay, we are talking about your garage door, right? Well, you called the right place. I'm Eric. Me and my crew at Lighthouse Door Company, we specialize in garage door repair and all types of garage door and opener installations. We've proudly served the Monterey and the Santa Cruz area since 2005. From basic metal garage doors to custom wood garage doors, we do it all, and we do it at a fair price. And if you mention KSCO, we'll even give you a 10% discount. You can call or text 831-655-1419. We look forward to working with you. 831-655-1419. Call or text Lighthouse Door Company 831-655-1419. We look forward to working with you.
Okay, we are back, and I'm going to the phones. Hi, welcome to Selling the 831.
Hi, Monica. This is Christina.
Oh, hi, Christina. Everyone, this is Christina Cervantes. She's one of the agents in my office at M Square. Are you holding down the fort over there?
I am, and I heard Ricky was on, so I just wanted to invite everyone. We'll be having an open house. Me and Ricky will be having an open house in Salinas at my newest listing in Hardin Ranch.
Ooh, okay, nice. What's the address? Tell us about it.
It's 1869 Delancey Drive. It's a 3-bedroom, 2-bath. Great starter home or someone looking to downsize. So make sure you come check us out. If you want more details, my number is 831-455-5077. Oh, and I forgot to mention the asking price is $639,000.
$639,000. Okay, and then since this is a whole VA thing, you think this house will go VA, a VA loan approved?
I mean, I think so. There is some Section 1 items, but, everything's negotiable in real estate. So come on by. I'll be there. Ricky will be there. And we'll be there this weekend from 12 to 2.
Saturday and Sunday, right?
Yes, both days.
Okay, perfect. Oh, Christina, thanks for calling. And
No, of course.
and yes, continue to hold it down over there at M Square.
I will.
Okay, I'll see you later.
All right, goodbye.
Bye. So last year, I sold a home to a retired military, and he had been retired for some years. I'm not sure how many, but when I met him, he had been pre-qualified for already about a year, and I think he had been looking like off and on. There's really not too much to this story, except somehow he found me, and he called, and we had a great first conversation, and he told me, the property that he was interested in. We submitted an offer. That offer we submitted was under asking. And I also requested that the seller pay some of his closing costs. And when the property was appraised, he had about $10,000 in equity. He used his VA loan. I think I mentioned he was a first-time home buyer. This guy, he was so happy that it just gave me the best feeling. And I usually take my clients out to lunch or dinner when we close a deal, but on this deal, our schedules just never worked out. But we were recently in touch, and we scheduled the long-awaited lunch for next week. So Tony, if you're listening, I had a lot of fun working with you, and thank you for trusting me with the largest purchase of your life. So we're live at the station. There's a few minutes left, so if anyone wants to sneak a call in, 831-479-1080, and just call, even if it's just to say hi. Okay, you get one more story then. Let's see. My first active duty person I had as a client, that was pretty cool because he was stationed in New York. He's from California, stationed in New York. And how I met him was I was working an open house, and mom and her daughter walked in to view the home. So I'm the realtor in the open house, and mom and daughter come in, and they were his mom and his sister is what they turned out to be. And they were Filipino, and I'm part Filipino. And there's one thing about Filipinos is it's pretty exciting to meet another Filipino. It's like a whole thing. And it's almost like, I don't know, it's funny. It's just this whole Filipino thing. And so they're asking me are you Filipino? And I don't know, I guess they could see some features in me. And I'm like, yeah, my mom, she's half Filipino, so I have a little Filipino in me. And usually when I say that, it starts this whole conversation oh, what part is she from? What's her maiden name? And on and on and on. And it's usually this conversation is almost like meetings, long lost family. So they instantly fell in love with me. and they told me that their son, or she told me that her son was in the military, but he was about to get out and he was coming back home, and that he wasn't going to live back with her and that he needed to buy a house and if I could help. So a few weeks later, he ended up emailing me from New York. And I called him, and this is like, what happened was, as a realtor, the best conversation, because he tells me, yeah, I'm coming back to California in a few weeks for 6 days, and then I have to go back to New York for a month, and then I'm getting out of the military. And he goes, so when I get back for those 6 days, I need to buy a house. And I was just like excited, because it's like, oh yeah, okay, great, like, this serious buyer, we're gonna buy a house. But at the same time, it's like, oh man, talk about the pressure. I felt like his whole family was just waiting for this moment. So yeah, when he was in New York, I had my lender, Ricky, whose name keeps popping up today. He pre-qualified him. We did use the VA loan. When he came back to California for those 6 days, I had like so many appointments lined up for us. And we ended up finding a house on, I want to say it was like day 3, we submitted our offer. And our offer gave the seller 3 days to respond. So my client had to go back to New York before we got our answer. And so he gets on his plane, and by the time he landed in New York, the seller had responded, and I was able to give him the good news of an accepted offer. So it all worked out. And by the time he got out of the military and came home, he did have a home to move into. So that is like such a cool story. And then, Ricky, I'm gonna bust you out here. Remember you asked me you wanted to put a gift inside of his home, and Ricky ended up filling his fridge with, like, I'll just say, drinks. But yeah, that was good times. Okay, I'm gonna take hopefully this will be the last call we're sneaking in. Like, 1 second. Hi, welcome to Selling the 831.
Hi, Monica. This is Eric. I'm over in Marina. Couple questions. I was there for 6 years, so I have a VA loan benefit to use. First question would be, are there construction conversion loans available for VA loan?
So I'm not a loan person. I'm going to go out on this one and say a yes, but that one I would advise you to speak with a loan originator, since that's a little more intricate.
Okay. And how's the market? Because I'm over here in Marina, but I'm in an older subdivision area as it relates to the market now. If we were to sell next year in spring or summer.
So, right now I keep telling people that it's more of a buyer's market, but if you price your house right, you could still get into that situation where you have multiple offers and what we call like a hot listing.
Okay.
Marina though is an area that is sought after. Is your home one of the newer built homes?
No, this is built in '79.
Okay. So, but Marina is, when a home goes up in Marina, it doesn't stay up for very long. I don't know if you're looking at that, but you're saying
No, I don't see too many listings sitting around here very long.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Either people are buying them as vacation homes, or even if it's their primary residence, it's a perfect spot because you're near the beach, you're near Monterey, you're near the highway, you're kind of in that hub, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you're saying you want to sell next year, or was it this year?
Well, it could be next year, it could be this year. Probably, it could very well be this year. I know there's talk about, sort of a recession kind of thing. I'm in commercial construction, and my girlfriend, we're going to get married.